Salutations friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a review and kind of first impressions, not really a first impressions, but I'll give you my initial first impressions and then my thoughts on it, on the BH Cosmetics Carli Bybel palette. This palette has been around for a minute, but I wanted to give you my review on it. I wanted to wait until a lot of people have reviewed it and kind of see what other people said and then set my expectations to a certain level rather than just dive into a palette and say, oh my gosh, this performed horribly, oh my gosh, this performed amazing. I wanted to see what other people were saying so I knew what to look for. So if you wanted to see or hear what I thought of this little collaboration, keep watching. First, before I go into anything really major, this is a collaboration between BH Cosmetics and Carli Bybel. I hope I'm pronouncing her last name correctly. BH Cosmetics, I wouldn't say is a super high-end brand. They are definitely on the more affordable side. Their palettes range from like $15 to $30, and I would say that since it's very affordable, they tend to have a lot of fun with their palettes. I have two examples, two of my favorite palettes from BH Cosmetics. It's the Pride and Prejudice and Zombies palette that they released with the movie, and also my Galaxy Chic palette. Now with BH Cosmetics, it's hit or miss. It's kind of to me like Morphe. Either their palettes and their makeup and things are really, really good, or they're really chalky and really powdery. So when I'm comparing this Carli Bybel palette, I'm not going to compare it to the palettes from BH Cosmetics that I didn't like. I'm going to compare them to the ones that I do like. So these are my expectations for what this palette should perform at. So first and foremost, I did a swatch video, so I will bring you to that, and then we will come back here. So here's the palette. As you can see, there's a tiny little bit of kickback, a little powderiness. And here's the top row. And these are all brush swatches. These are not finger swatches. So that's the top. And here's the second row. These are all shimmers. The top are all mattes except for that one, which is a shimmer. And the bottom row is all shimmers. And again, these are brush swatches. And this is the bottom row, which are like highlights and shimmery bronzers and toppers. Or you could use them as eyeshadows. You can really do whatever you want with these. I wanted to compare one swatch of this to one from this and one from this. These are also BH Cosmetics palettes. This is the Galaxy one, which was all over forever. This is really fun. And this one is a palette that is Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, which actually I really like. So, hold on. From this palette, I took this one and compared it to Sun, which is the top two. The top one is the one Sun. The bottom one is from Carli's palette. As you can see, they're both really nice. They both go on really smooth. And again, these are brush swatches. The second one, I went with this one, and I compared it to this one, and again you can see that they perform the same. Next I'm going to try this highlighter with this highlighter. The top one is from Carli's palette and the bottom one is from the Pride and Prejudice and Zombies palette. Again, they both perform the same, but as you can see, the Pride and Prejudice and Zombies one is a little touch warmer and Carli's is cooler, which I really like. And this is how I've been testing it. I've been using this Luxie brush. This is the Luxie, what is it, 231, and in between I clean them in this guy. So, and I need to clean that guy. But yeah, that's how I've been testing all of these swatches. So these are all brush swatches. So as you can see, I swatched this whole thing, and then I did comparisons between these two for one color that I thought was very similar to that palette, as well as the highlight in here to the highlights in Carli's palette. So you saw the colors, they're really, they go on really nicely, very smooth. There is a little bit of kickback. But what I like about Carli's palette specifically is that this is just a beautiful neutral palette and everything works together really nicely. Now, if you have fair skin, you're really probably only going to be able to use this color as a highlight, maybe this one. These you might have to use as toppers for bronzer or as eyeshadows, but they do perform very nicely. Now the eyeshadows, you get 10, 8 of them are shimmers, and 6 of them are shimmers, sorry, I can't do math. 6 of them are shimmers, and 4 of them are mattes. And the top row here, these are all mattes except for this one, which is a shimmer. I use this one today all over my lid, and then I use the top row and a little bit of this one to kind of define my eye. I did a very subtle look today because I'm going to be running around town. My wings are kind of off, but that's normal. And I've used this palette for about a week right now, almost exclusively. So I do have a good idea about how these powders and eyeshadows perform. Also, if I'm sounding a little nasally, I'm sorry. You know, like sometimes if you sleep with your mouth open and then your throat gets really dry and it like hurts? That's what happened. I'm a winner. But yeah, so I'm going to be a little like froggy voiced for this video. Anyway, so let's get into my likes and dislikes of this palette. I'm going to start off with the cons. The cons of this palette is that the mattes are a little bit hard to blend. They looked really beautiful on swatches, but when you get them on your eye, you really have to work to blend them out. So that is something, and the color payoff, although on the swatches on my hand with a brush swatch, and I didn't, you know, go over it too much, you do have to work at them. They aren't as super pigmented as other matte shades in the other BHS Cosmetic palettes. But I will say that once you get them blended and once you can get the color deposited on, they do look really nice. The other thing is there is a lot of kickback in this palette that I've noticed in mine. It's something I just noticed in general with any of these palettes. So this is something that I would not say is specific to this palette, but it's just specific to the brand. So that is something to keep in mind as well. I also think that if you have Carli's skin tone, this palette is definitely made for you. Obviously, she designed this palette, so I'm not going to say, oh, but what about super dark girls? What about super light girls? If a YouTuber is designing their dream palette, then obviously they're going to design it to fit their skin tone. She has beautiful skin. This entire range would look gorgeous on her, but if you have super dark skin or super light skin, you might only be able to take advantage of just one or two of these guys up here. Again, that's more of just me noticing something and a con if you were going to purchase this, rather than a real, like, don't get this because of that. It's just something to keep in mind. I will also say that the mattes don't have any fallout, which is really nice, but the shimmers do have a little bit of fallout, so just to keep that in mind when you put them on your lids. But now for the good. Foremost, I think this is one of the most affordable YouTube collaboration palettes ever. BH Cosmetics is, again, a very affordable brand. This is only $14.50, and you do get 10 shades, and you do get 4 highlighters, or, you know, bronze toppers or cheek toppers, or however you use these products. So you get 14 different colors to play around with. I do like the price point. I think it's a great price point. Although the mattes are very hard to blend, and the color payoff when you first put them on it's a little hard to work, I do think that these are beautiful colors, and I do think that they are worth the effort. Again, the effort you have to put in with other some Morphe products. Some of my 35O palette, which I love, I have to use the same amount of effort, and I absolutely love that palette. Some mattes are super buttery and creamy and you can get on, but for me, I've noticed that sometimes with mattes you have to work at it anyway. But I do love the colors. I love this color for all over the lid. And I do really like the quality of the shimmers, although they are a little, they do have some fallout. When they go on your lid, they're very vibrant, they're very pretty, and nothing creases, everything stays put once it's there, and this entire palette lasts all day. So the highlights last all day, the eyeshadows last all day, and that's something that I really, really like. I also like the fact that since this has like kind of shimmery bronzers and a highlight and all these colors work together, this is going to be a great travel palette, and it's also really, really good that it's so affordable that if something happens to it when you travel, it's not like, oh my gosh, my $50 Too Faced palette, oh my gosh, my $100 Marc Jacobs palette, oh my gosh, you know, my like $45 Tarte palette. This is a very affordable palette, so you can travel with it with like little to no anxiety, and that's something that's really important to me. I also just think generally the quality of this overall palette compared to the other BH Cosmetics palettes that I really like, enjoy, and use is definitely up there with the best. You know, it does have a few hiccups here and there, but a lot of palettes do anyway, and compared to the other BH Cosmetics palette, this is actually, I think, better performing than the two that I showed you, which was really, really exciting for me because I like to find affordable makeup products that work really well. So I would definitely say that this is definitely, out of all of the BH Cosmetic products that I've tried, this is the best. So that is pretty exciting and awesome, because I think BH Cosmetics is kind of an underrated brand for affordable makeup. I think everyone goes to Morphe, and Morphe is kind of like hit or miss to me. Like, it's either really super awesome or really kind of eh. BH Cosmetics is kind of the same way, but their stuff is a little bit more affordable, and I think it gets overlooked a lot. So for like eyeshadow and like things like that, I definitely think this is a fantastic natural palette. If you wanted to find a nice neutral palette that's affordable, this is definitely one of the best, just in any price range. Overall, there was a few hiccups with this palette, but there's most products have a few hiccups. If I'm going to give this product a grade, I'm going to give this an A. I think this is a really terrific palette. I think that if the mattes were a little bit more easy to blend and the shimmers were a little bit more had less fallout, this would definitely be an A+ palette. Again, I'm comparing this to other BH Cosmetics palettes. If I were to compare this to other YouTuber palettes out there that I've both swatched and used, this would still be an A. I still think the Swamp Queen palette from Tarte is my absolute favorite, but this is definitely number 2 from my YouTube collaborations. So this is definitely worth picking up, absolutely. It's only $14.50. I believe that there's still some available at Ulta. I don't know if you can get them online, but this is just absolutely beautiful. I love the colors. If you have warm skin or light skin, you might not be able to use, again, all of these products down here on your cheeks, but there's definitely a color for everybody, and this palette of eyeshadows right here is really beautiful. Again, you do have to work a little bit more than normal to blend out the mattes, and the color payoff is a little bit light, but you can build it up. But they do last all day, and they do look really beautiful. So that is my thoughts on the Carli Bybel BH Cosmetics Collab palette. Hello? I don't know why I said that. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to give it a thumbs up. It lets me know to continue to do videos like this. I also hope you would subscribe. That would be kind of cool, because it's free if you don't know, and I'm free, which sounds weird, but I put out new videos every Monday through Friday, and sometimes also on the weekends as well, so I'll always have something for you to watch. In any case, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you are all happy and healthy and have a great day, month, year, whatever, and I'll see you next time. Bye!